Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliet Chukwukem and welcome back to my channel, Easy Maths with Juliet. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at the topic that says Pythagoras rule. This is one of the topics you learn in mathematics, okay? Now, Pythagoras rule is used to find any of the missing sides of a right-angled triangle. You know that we have different types of triangles, right? Of course. And sometimes you'll be asked to find the perimeter of angled triangle. Now, when you are looking for perimeter of any other type of triangle, all you need to do is you add up the three sides. But in the case of a right angled triangle, when you're asked to find the perimeter of a right angled triangle and then you have one of the missing sides, you have to first of all find one of the missing sides before you'll be able to calculate the perimeter of that right angled triangle. Hence the reason for this lesson today. So we'll be looking at how to find any of the missing sides of a right angled triangle. Just like other triangles, a right angle has three sides. A right angled triangle has three sides, okay? The side facing the right angle, this is the right angle. So the side facing the right angle is known as the hypotenuse, and it is said to be the longest part of a right angled triangle, right? So the longest part of a right angled triangle is known as the hypotenuse, all right? Then the side where the right angle is situated is known as the opposite. Then the third side is known as the adjacent, right? When you are looking for any of the sides of a right angle triangle, you use a rule known as Pythagoras rule. We can also call it Pythagoras theorem. And the theorem states that Pythagoras rule states that hypotenuse squared, the square of the hypotenuse part, is equivalent to the square of the remaining two parts of the right angle. So the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the opposites and the adjacent. So what we are trying to say is hypotenuse squared is equal to square of opposite plus square of adjacent. And then sometimes we'll be asked to find the opposite part of the right angle. So to do this, square of opposite is equal to the square of hypotenuse minus the square of the adjacent. And thirdly, if you are looking for the adjacent part of a right angle triangle, the square of the adjacent is equal to square of the hypotenuse minus square of the opposite. So in summary, Pythagoras theorem states that square of hypotenuse is equal to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. Then if you're looking for adjacent, adjacent squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus opposite squared. Also, if you're looking for the opposite part of the right angle, you simply do opposite squared equal to hypotenuse squared minus adjacent squared, right? So in summary, we have three rules of Pythagoras, okay? So we have the hypotenuse, we have the opposites, and then we have the adjacent. So this is what Pythagoras theorem or Pythagoras rule is all about. So we'll be using this rule to find any of the missing sides of any right angled triangle. All right? So the thing you need to do now is you should be able to, identify the three sides. Obviously, the longest side is usually the hypotenuse, right? Now, it is also the side facing the right angle, all right? And that particular side where the right angle is situated is known as the opposite, and the other side is known as the adjacent, okay? So once you are able to identify all the three sides of the right angle, then you'll be able to know whether you are looking for the opposite or you're looking for the adjacent or you're looking for the hypotenuse. So without wasting much time, let's go into some questions involving Pythagoras rule. Okay, we have a question on the board. We have the first example, okay? Oh, so this is example 1. So look at the question we have on the board. In the diagram above, find x. So this is a right angle triangle, and looking at it, you can see that one of the sides is missing. And the question is asking us to find the value of x. Now, for you to be able to find the value of x, you need to first of all identify all the 3 sides, okay? Of course, here is the hypotenuse, and here is the opposite, and here is the adjacent. So looking at this, the side you are looking for is the opposite side, okay? And if you can remember, using Pythagoras rule, so using Pythagoras theorem, all right? I'm looking for the opposite side. Now remember that opposite squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus adjacent squared, all right? So looking at this, the opposite is x. So we are going to have that x squared is equal to, the hypotenuse there is 13 centimeters. So I'm going to have 13 squared minus, the adjacent is 12. So 12 squared, all right? Now x squared is equal to, 13 squared means 13 times 13. So 13 times 13 is 169. And 12 times 12. 12 squared means 12 times 12. And 12 times 12 is 144, all right? So x squared is equal to 169 minus 144. 9 minus 4 is 5. 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay, so x squared is equal to 25. For you to be able to find the value of x, you simply find the square root of 25. Okay, and the square root of 25 is equal to 5. Therefore, the value of x is equal to 5 centimeters. So we have found our x to be equal to 5 centimeters. So it is this simple. You find the 3 sides, identify the 3 sides, and when you do that, for you to get the missing side, you apply Pythagoras rule to be able to get any of the missing sides. Okay, now let's go into example 2. Let's get into another example so that you can understand better. Alright class, so we have example 2 here. If you look at this, we have another right angle triangle. Alright, when looking at this, here is the hypotenuse, right? Okay, so it's left for us now to decide which one is the opposite and the adjacent. Now looking at this, hypotenuse is the side facing the right angle, okay? And that side where the right angle is, the sign of the right angle, this is the sign of the right angle. Hypotenuse is the side facing the right angle, okay? And that particular place where the right angle is known as the opposite, okay? So here is our opposite, and here is the adjacent. So from this diagram, we are asked to find the value of y. And according to Pythagoras rule, our adjacent is equal to y, okay? So we're looking for adjacent, and using Pythagoras rule, we have that adjacent squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus opposite squared, all right? Now from this diagram, our adjacent is y. Therefore, y squared is equal to hypotenuse squared. Hypotenuse here is what? 10. So we are going to have 10 squared minus, the opposite is 8, so minus 8 squared, all right? So y squared is equal to 10 squared is 10 times 10, which is 100. 8 times 8 is equal to 64, all right? So y squared is equal to 100 minus 64. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. So 100 minus 64, we have 36. Now to find the value of y, we are simply going to find the square root of 36, right? So the square root of 36 is equal to 6. I believe you know how to find square root of numbers. Okay, so 36 is a perfect square. So it has a square root, and the square root is equal to 6. So the value of y is equal to 6 centimeters. All right. So the value of y is 6 centimeters. Okay. Let's look into another example. All you need to do is draw different shapes of right angle triangle. Draw it in different corners, and once you are able to identify the three sides, apply Pythagoras rule and you'll be able to find any of the missing sides. It's that simple. Okay, we have another example here. This is example 3. Now this is another shape of right angle triangle. All right, and in this case, this is our hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse. All right, here is our opposite, and here is the adjacent. Okay, so this is the opposite, the side where the hypotenuse is facing. That is the opposite. Okay, and here is the adjacent. So looking at this, we're looking for m, and m is the opposite. So using Pythagoras theorem, using Pythagoras rule, we are looking for the opposite part of this right angle. So according to Pythagoras rule, opposite squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus adjacent squared. All right. So the opposite in this case is m. So m squared is equal to, our hypotenuse is 13. So we're going to have 13 squared minus, the adjacent is 5. So minus 5 squared. Now m squared is equal to 13 times 13 is 169, and 5 times 5 is 25. So m squared is 169 minus 25. 9 minus 5 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4, and then 1. So m squared is equal to 144. To find the value of m, just like we did in the previous examples, we simply look for the square root of 144. So the square root of 144 is equal to 12. Therefore, the value of m is equal to 12 centimeters. Okay, so the value of m in this case is 12 centimeters. Okay, guys, we have another example here on the board. Looking at this diagram, we have a right angle triangle, and the question says, find the perimeter of this triangle. Like I said, if you're looking for perimeter of any other type of triangle, you simply add up the three sides. Okay, but for this is a right angle triangle, and before you can find the perimeter of this triangle, you need to first of all find the missing part of the right angle triangle. All right, hence we need to use Pythagoras rule to find this missing part. Looking at here, this is the hypotenuse part of this right angle triangle. So we are looking for the hypotenuse. All right, and hypotenuse squared according to Pythagoras rule is equal to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. All right, so looking at this, the hypotenuse is length AC. So AC squared is equal to, opposite here is AB. So we're going to have AB squared plus the adjacent is BC, okay, plus BC squared. Now AC in this case is 5 centimeters. Sorry, AC here is hypotenuse, okay? So AC squared is equal to, AB is 5, so 5 squared plus BC is 12 plus 12 squared, all right? So AC squared is equal to, 5 squared is equal to 25, 12 squared is 144. AC squared is equal to, 5 plus 4 is 9, 2 plus 4 is 6. 169. So to find length AC is equal to, we are going to look for the square root of 169. Alright? The square root of 169 is equal to 13. Therefore, length AC is equal to 13 centimeters. Moving on, to find the perimeter, okay? Now, perimeter of any shape is simply the total distance around the shape. So now we have found here to be 13. So to find the perimeter, we simply add length AC plus length AB plus length BC, okay? We add the three sides together to get the perimeter. So AC, according to what we found, is 13. So you have 13 centimeters. AB is 5 centimeters. And BC is 12 centimeters. So we're going to add up everything together to get our perimeter. So 5 plus 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. Take 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Therefore, the perimeter of this right angle triangle is 30 centimeters. Can say 13 plus 5 is 18, and 18 plus 12 will give you 30. So the perimeter of this right angle triangle is equal to 30 centimeters. Hope it's clear. Okay guys, we have come to the end of today's lesson. In this lesson, we learned about Pythagoras rule, okay? And I said that Pythagoras rule is used, it is a theorem that is used to find any of the missing sides of a right angled triangle. And like I said, a right angled triangle has three sides. We have the longest side to be the hypotenuse, and it's called the side that is facing the right angle. And the side where the right angle is situated is known as the opposite, and the other side is known as the adjacent, okay? So Pythagoras rule states that hypotenuse squared is equal to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. And if you're looking for the opposite part, opposite squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus adjacent squared. And thirdly, if you're looking for the adjacent part, adjacent squared is equal to hypotenuse squared minus opposite squared. And if you are given question involving Pythagoras rule, you have to first of all identify the three sides so that you'll be able to know which of the sites that you are asked to find. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's lesson. Please, if you have any question, you drop in the comment section, like the video, and share to someone that you think needs to learn about this. Thank you so much. Till next time. Bye.